we know that as Miners, we represent a whole city. We represent a lot of people who care a lot about this game. This means something more. This means something more because of the rivalry, because of of what we represent, and because of the fact that we just don't like each other, and that's the way it is. I don't have a single family member that ain't gonna be there in the stands, so there should be about 50,000 people in the stands. But it means a lot, It means a lot. I've grown up on this rivalry. I was coming to Miner Aggie games when I was a little boy. And it means a lot to me because I've worn these colors a long time, long before anybody here knew about me. And so, we were still rooting for this team and living and dying by this rivalry every year. So, I think of them every time we play this game. I think about my family all the time, every year that we play this game, and not just them, but all the people over the years that have supported me and supported this school. And this whole place means so much to me. That's why this week is so important for me. And those guys know it. They can see it in my face, and they can see it in my demeanor. This is something different about this week. Why is Coach so fired up? But because it's the Battle of I-10, and I know that those guys are going to come to play. I know those guys are going to come to play because they always do. And when they do and they come out successful, they're good. They're good about rubbing it in. So we need to make sure that we take care of business because respect those coaches, respect those players, man. They're very good. And that's where it ends because it's a rivalry, and it means too much to my people that we don't get it. The colors don't mesh, and that's the way it is. The schools don't mesh, the colors don't mesh, and that's why this game is so important.
It means a lot. I think a lot to UTEP students, a lot to us. Get bragging rights, and you know that you can walk around through El Paso and New Mexico, and Las Cruces. Know that you kind of own that town. Not really, a little bit, but then after that first game, I kind of come to understand what it's about, and it's real nice and real unique rivalry, and so we really appreciate those trophies. Every week is very important, but rivalry week is just that more important. You got to take it as a championship game and really come out and give your best effort.
The game is exciting, but when you're playing New Mexico State, it means something more, I think, to the people in town because sometimes they share office space, sometimes husbands of married wives, sometimes you got a brother or sister that are going to two different schools, and there's a little bit more at stake for the stockholders who are the fans, and that seems to transfer to the coaching staff. I've always felt like the New Mexico State Texas-El Paso rivalry was one of the great rivalries in the country for several reasons, one of which I felt like was unique. In basketball, it was about being played either within 4 days or at the very latest a week from one game to the other. We would see 14,000 people over New Mexico State when we went in. They would come back over 4 days later, and invariably there had been a situation in the game before that made the competition that much more intense. There was just too little time to forget about what had happened, and that's what I loved about the rivalry. It was intense. There was always well-coached games played between great players, and I think one of the best-kept secrets in the United States in terms of rivalries.
It's a little unique for me, and it's much different for me than it is for most because I've been on both sides of this rivalry, and I know since I've been involved on the UTEP side for the last 30 years, there may be some in particular that have been born since that particular time that are not aware that I was on the other side of the rivalry. In fact, I started on the other side of the rivalry because before I became the voice of the UTEP Miners, I spent only 1 year as the voice of the New Mexico State Aggies. So everyone knows where my loyalties are. It truly is one of the most unique rivalries in all of intercollegiate athletics when you talk about neighboring states, neighboring cities separated by 35 to 40 miles. The fact that in basketball it's one of the few rivalries that's played home and home with the universities being in different conferences, and just the need for both communities to excel in this particular rivalry or series just for a pride factor because it's bragging rights for an entire year. I've always said it's one of the most underrated rivalries in the country. I grew up being a UCLA grad on the UCLA-USC rivalry, which is one of the greatest in intercollegiate athletics. You can talk about Oklahoma, Texas, Ohio State, Michigan, but UTEP New Mexico State in our little corner of the world is every bit as significant to the people of this area as any one of those rivalries, and it's one of the things that makes intercollegiate athletics so great. When they first get here, they're not quite aware, unless they're from this area, as to what this rivalry is all about. But once they see the fan reaction and the attention that this rivalry gets, regardless of the sport. I think it's something that they learn about, and by the time they're in their second UTEP New Mexico State game, certainly I think they have a much firmer grasp of what it's all about, and they get into it as well. I mean, you want to beat New Mexico State. It's important to beat New Mexico State, and certainly if you're an Aggie, the other way around. So they get into it very, very quickly.
It means that that's a game that you cannot lose, and you're expected to win, and the whole city is talking about it, and the whole media is talking about it, everybody. And that's an awesome opportunity for us, that so many people are talking about UTEP soccer, and that we're playing in front of 2,000 fans here at home. That's incredible, and we're very blessed to have that experience here. It's been quite fun to start out with. We set our attendance record 2 years ago here and had 2,000 people. The stands hold about 700, so we had 1,000 people sitting up here at the wall that says UTEP and all by the fence. It was an incredible atmosphere, and you couldn't ask for a better day to play soccer, and we ended up winning that game. We outshot them quite a bit, but it went to overtime. They played very good defense, and give them a lot of credit, but we got the game winner, and we were celebrating. It was awesome, and rivalry games mean a lot to us. This year we went to their place, and they had a great crowd, and we also had an awesome group of UTEP supporters. They had a tailgate out there. The UTEP men's club team was there, and we think our fans might have been as loud as their fans, maybe even louder at some points. But we were winning 1-0 at halftime and feeling really good about things, and then Mother Nature came in, and the lightning wouldn't go away, and so the rules kept us from finishing out the game, and it was just a no contest, and that was unfortunate because we were up 1-0. But again, it was a great game, and it's a great rivalry, and something we'll look forward to in the future.